Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Building a Nation, the Analysis Days, on the page of Alberto Freitas. So we're going to get straight into the older squad report to start things off, because I'm very curious to see how he's done this season. He's the best player in this team by a country mile. He's still only 22, 5 caps for Portugal. He seems to have the personality that would suggest that he's actually quite happy to stay a lot of the time. He doesn't require much. He's a world-class player. That's the first one we've had of those, definitely. He's only worth 5.25 million, but we've had bids of well over 10 million for this guy, and that's brilliant because it shows that we've got real quality, but also he's worth way more than that. So let's look at some of the attributes this guy has got. He is phenomenal. There's a reason why he's the captain. He's still only 22, 77 games for us so far. Really, really good stuff. He's only played, 3 goals in the Champions League he got this year, 2 in the league as well, 1 in the cup. That's not bad, to be honest. That's 6 goals he got this year. He got 7 last year, so not too bad. Let's start working down. Jacobo Garcia. It's been him and Orozco this year, really. They've been fighting it out to see who's going to be the number one in that middle. And Orozco, I think, has kind of won for the most part. He's still started a lot in the league. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists, not too bad. Only 2 substitute appearances, though, in the Champions League. Still doing an excellent job in the midfield for us, though. Really, really pleased with the way his output as well. 91 appearances for the club. Really, really good as well. Moving on, it's down to Jan, who, of course, is out on loan at Celta Vigo. Although he has had a good season, really. I mean, he joined them in January, I think. He scored 4 goals for them in 5 starts, which is actually pretty damn impressive. Really impressive. I think he did get a hat-trick in one game. That's impressive to see. Huge fan of this lad. He might well have a future. Jorge Gomez, who's out on loan at Hanover for the rest of the year. I mainly did that just to try and give him some football, because I think he's got plenty of ability to play for us next season as well. He's done all right over in... Well, he's done okay over in Germany. Point is, he's doing fine. Moving on to Brian Gorosito, who, of course, is injured. He's had a pretty successful season with us, to be perfectly honest. 7 goals in the league, 1 in the Champions League as well, which is not a bad return overall. 10 goals in all competitions. He scored the winner in the cup final, which won us the cup. I can't really argue with that. I like the guy a lot. Moving down to Juan Martin Iglesias. He conceded 5 in 18 in the league, which is not too bad, really, when you think about it. He conceded 6 goals this season. We'll see how he compares to Franceschi when we actually look at the proper stats. Ibon Oriondo hasn't played, but has been on loan at Paris FC, helping them to a really decent finish in the top flight. Przemysław Yamrog, I loaned him out to GKS in January, and he's played 16 times this season, 15 of which were for GKS. So if they would have come in the summer and put a bid, I wouldn't be opposed to letting Yamrog go to older GKS, because we love them, sort of, as a meme. Vladimir Jovanovic, what a season this guy's had. I no two ways about it. 18 goals this year, 12 goals in the league is ridiculous. 5 in the cup as well. It hasn't quite turned up in the Champions League, is what I would say, but 18 goals for us this season. I think he's been sensational. He is listed as a wonder kid despite the changes here, which is kind of interesting. Down to Kev, my man. 8 assists and 9 goals this season in all competitions is still really, really good for a player like Kevin, who's just an excellent utility player. Didn't really play much in the Champions League. Got 5 goals in the league, 6 assists, 3 in the cup. He's just a good player to have around the club. Blaise Lezic, this is important, really, to really see how his development has increased this season, and it is completely obvious that he's been brilliant. 9 goals and 13 assists this season. When you look at his stats compared to last year, he got 6 goals and 4 assists. This year is a massive, massive step up in the exact same number of appearances. He's got 2 more goals and he's got 6 more assists. He's been such a better creative outlook for us this year, and I think he's only going to get better. Also got a goal in the Champions League and 2 assists. Lezic is still only 18 years old, worth 3.2 million. He is listed as a wonder kid as well. I think once he gets that trait of getting into the box, opponents' areas, he is going to be next level good. I cannot wait for that. Is he still training it? He is good. So moving on to Militic, who's been out on loan at West Ham for much of the season, thanks to them paying us many, many money. And if they're interested in paying us lots more money, they're welcome to have him for even longer than that. Milos Nikolic, of course, has been out on loan at Toulouse for lots of money as well, which is very nice. We've got Jonas Oprich. He's only come in and played a few games for us, but he's done all right. I can't really knock his performances. He's got a goal in the Champions League, 3 assists, 2 goals in the league, 2 assists. Not too bad for old Jonas. Didn't cost us a lot of money. I think there's more to come from him next season. And we're kind of good in that particular position at the moment. Juan Orozco, what a lad. 7 goals and 10 assists this season from the centre of midfield. He really has taken that role under his wing and made it his own. Nobody's getting near him for that role. He really has put up huge numbers. 92% pass completion in the league is crazy. Well done him. Edwin Palacios has been out on loan again this year at Hamburg. He might be one I would potentially move on in the summer if the money was right, just because I just don't think he's ever going to be able to force his way into the first team, but we'll see. Uros Pandurovic, 117 appearances for us in total, and again, he's been around about where he needs to be this year. 29 appearances this year, adding more to his tally. No goals, did get an assist though, but he's done the job when he's needed to do it, and that's the main thing. Patino hasn't played a great deal, a few in the league. He again might be one that I had a deal agreed, and I nearly sold him for £7.5 million in January, but there was something about the deal that I didn't like, and I can't remember what it was. Might have been because of the clauses or whatever. So Ernesto Peralta had a bit of a down season this year, but he hasn't played as much as he has in previous years. I think that's fair to say. Well, actually, I'm going to say that. He only played 2 less league games this year. Got the same number of assists, but it was his goal scoring that was really off pace this year. 13 he got in his first season, and it just wasn't to be this year with only 5 in the league. So, something to maybe take a look at there. Maybe if a club was interested, I don't know, we'd have to have a look at replacements. Aslan has been something else this year. 14 assists, 13 of which were in the league, fair enough, but what a player he's been for us this year. Now, obviously, he won't be here next year, that's fine, but he's been a really, really solid performer, and Schalke will be glad to have him back, I expect. Tobias Röser, I think he's got like long-term potential to catch up with Alba Racine. He's played a decent amount of games this year. You know, he's got 11 league starts, 16 appearances overall, a couple of goals, which he got in the same game, got a couple of assists in there too. It's going to take him a little while, but I've got high hopes for him. Diego Silva, again, has just made that role his own. 31 appearances in all competitions this year, putting up some decent numbers in most of the games he's played. I don't know what his actual stats like in terms of outputs, a bit less there, but still fairly solid for the most part. Pretty pleased with that as well. Mark Stamler, he's a bit of a weird one. I'm prepared to give him more of a chance in the future, because obviously Aslan won't be there next year, but he has been a bit hit and miss at times, to be honest. So I want to see whether he can improve, really. He definitely does seem to work on some stuff. Victor Hugo. What can we say about Victor Hugo? 17 goals in the league in only 13 starts. That's one hell of a season. 15 appearances in total for us in his entire career. 67 goals. What's his stats like compared to last season? Well, there you go. He's made 1 more appearance, but he's scored 10 more goals. Got a few less assists from that position. He's very much been the goal scorer, whereas Lisik's been the assister. And that's actually the best season he's had for us for quite some time. It's his second best year in total since his 23-goal season. Really, really impressed with him. Well done, lad. Victor Luis has been on loan at Botafogo, again, because they paid us loads of money. That's fine. Haldor has been over on loan at PSV for the season, which is fine, because, again, they paid lots of money. Davor Vinjevic, he's been around. He has scored a couple of goals. He's just starting to go off a little bit at the moment. He's got 1 cap for Serbia, though, which he got this year. Leandro Albarracin, I love this guy so much. Nearly up to 100 appearances for us as well. Played plenty of times for us this year. I think he's still putting up solid numbers. In fact, they're even better. He got 3 goals and 7 assists this year in the league, and 7.87. That is massive numbers, and it didn't even cost us that much in the end, which is crazy. See who else we got here. Where's Viggy when you need him? Julian Barami. Yeah, what a waste. This was such a waste of a loan deal, and it cost us a lot of money too. Massive faux pas on my part. Lassa Bang has done brilliantly as well. Played a lot of games and got goals. He got assists amazingly. He got goals in the Champions League too. He has been ridiculously good, and if there's a way to get him back for another year, I would not be opposed to that one bit. Ignacio Bonavento, room for the future for him, I expect. But I don't know. We'll have to have a look at him, maybe the analysis. Campagnaro, what is there to say? 14 goals this season and 8 assists. That's bloody insane. In the Champions League, he wasn't quite up to it. But in the league, 10 goals is ridiculously good for him. Really, really pleased with his output. He's got 1 more year left on his contract. 2 more years. So again, I'm not going to be giving him a new contract, because every time I try to offer him one, he wants stupid money. So I'm prepared, and he keeps like come to me saying he wants another contract, but I can talk him out of it, so it's not too bad. I'm just going to keep him as he is, quite frankly, because he has been unbelievable. What a signing, on a free transfer as well. Like, the previous club he played for was Lecce. What a signing. I'm really, really pleased with that one. Herman Carballo, he is Polish international. He's on £23,000 a week, and I need to get him out of the club this summer as soon as possible, because he's costing so much in wages and he's not contributing anything to the team. 5 appearances this season in total. Yeah, he needs to get out. I love him, I do, but we need him off the wage bill. Mattis Viggs, a good season for him by all accounts. 19 goals and 8 assists. He's really been good from the assist standpoint this year. Still only 19, you know. I'm still pretty pleased with him. How's his stacking up? So again, not as good as the previous season, it's fair to say, but his average rating overall was still bloody fantastic. It's actually better overall. 6 Man of the Match awards as well. He's definitely putting up big numbers compared to what he was before, and I think a full season playing at striker could easily see him get his best ever goal scoring season for us. I have absolutely zero doubt of that, but I am going to look for other strikers in the summer, because we need support there. Eichel Comp, who is you know, still here. He's a youngster. I don't know how much he's actually going to play. You never know. Vasil El-Khatib, of course, who's barely played for us in his entire... In fact, he's never made a single appearance for us in the league. I swear he had. He's been out on loan his entire career, it would seem. But that's fine. We've made plenty of money. We've made his transfer fee back, I expect, just out of the loan fees. Ruben Franceschi conceded 4 goals in... So, yeah, I don't know. Well, I really do want to compare those two. I'm very interested about that. I love him, though. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And we're back to Bertie Freitas. Right, let's go and check out the league stats while we're here. So we finally did it. We've actually outclassed Gornik by an exact percentage point. Last time we did win it, but we were both tied on 55 or something. We have won it this time. Penalties taken. We're top of that with 7. We scored 6 of them. I'm trying to remember who missed the penalty. Headers won. We're up there too, which is quite nice. Headers won ratio right up top, which is great. We're not very foully, only 35, although Gornik barely touched anyone, apparently. No red cards this season either. It's been a long time since we've had a red card in the league. Form is irrelevant right now. Goals, 104. Wow. We scored 42 goals more than... you could actually add up like the bottom 3 teams that got relegated, and they still would have probably scored less goals than we did. That's crazy. 21% cross completion is brilliant. Crosses completed over 450. 11 goals from corners. We've been so strong from the air. A couple of direct free kicks. That's where Zvigawa's picked up a couple of extra ones. Wow, that's a lot of it. Wow, look at that from Viswa. 10 indirect free kick goals. We haven't got too many of those. Pass completion, 85, out in front. Most passes as well. We've beaten Gornik on that one too. Chances created, 82. That is a lot. Shots on target ratio. Oh, that's interesting. I think that might have changed since we changed the system, so there's long-range shots are happening more often. Then again, nearly 400 shots on target. Conversion rate down at 11%. I'm sure we can work on this. Fouls against, not too bad. Dribbles per game, 9. That's fine. Defending, 9 goals conceded. The worst thing about that is we were sitting at 5 up until the last few games of the season, and I really thought we were going to have a chance, but Lechia scored twice against us. Lech scored, as did... Pogon, and those 4 goals conceded in those 3 games just really did us. It's a shame, but we still got under 10, which is what I wanted. Only 1 goal conceded from a corner. Don't remember when that was. Conceded from direct free kicks, none, which is nice. Conceded from indirect free kicks, none, which is really nice. 29 clean sheets. Bloody hell is all I will say to that one. It's a shame as well that we conceded 2 goals against Lechia, because that would have been a whole season where we didn't concede more than 1 goal in a game. Would have been really cool as well. Fouls made, we're not a very foul team as we know, and we don't even win that many tackles because we've got so much at the ball. But when we do need to win a tackle, we go and win it, goddammit. Penalties conceded, none. Brilliant. So we've only conceded 1 goal from a set piece this year, and that was from a corner. Average attendances, 10,500. Much more like it. Average attendance by capacity, 98%. We've had 14 sellouts. Not as many as I'd like, quite frankly. Highest attendance, though, is a little bit there. But our lowest should be down there as well, actually. Right, here we go. Here's the fun one. Net transfer spend. We actually made £4 million this season. Whereas Katowice decided to spend 15 bloody million. Lech doing quite well on that one, too. Keeping their balance nice and lovely. Let's check out the salary per annum. This should be hilarious. We are at the top, but Katowice are directly behind us. Like, that is mental that they're spending nearly 17 million a year and they're struggling to even stay in the league. Whereas you've got Lechia, Lech, even Legia are only down on 7, to be honest. So that's not too bad. And the 3 teams with the bottom salaries all went down. But then Katowice weren't that far ahead of them and were spending like 5 times as much. They are a joke of a club, quite frankly. And the only one other than us with secure finances. Oh no, Lech have got it as well. I assume they've got big money. We can actually see how much money Katowice have got because we can see it in this panel down here. There's usually a panel. 25 million in the bank still. Yeah. I imagine they'll probably be spending another God knows how much in the summer as well. So let's go on to player detailed. This is always a good one. Come on, there we go. So that's not that important. That's not that important. Yellow cards, we probably will have... Yeah, Victor Hugo actually got 5. Naughty boy. Player of the match awards, Zvigawa got 6. Victor Hugo got 5. Orozco got 3. And Campagnaro with 3 as well. Wojciech Fijarczyk covered the most ground of any player this season. That is actually really impressive. Distance covered per 90 minutes... I assume he's probably in there as well, although weirdly he doesn't... Oh, there he is, down there. Wow, look at that. Paskowski really does cover some ground. Average rating. We have the entire top 8, then Polak, and there's so few. We've got so many. It was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of the top 20 are our players. Brilliant, lads. Well done. Goals scored. Victor Hugo with 17. Zvigawa is there with 14. Jovanovic with 12. Campagnaro with 10. To have that many players get into double figures is a very nice sign. Victor Hugo, he just hasn't played that much. To be honest, I feel like he'd have even more goals, but I've been really trying to push Lisik because I think once he gets that PPM, he is going to be deadly. 150 shots Zvigawa had this season. Fijarczyk's not been shy about taking a shot or two, has he? Shots on target, he has hit the target enough, to be fair. Shots on target percentage-wise, Peralta with 54, but none of the others are getting anywhere near that. Conversion rate, 30% conversion rate for Victor Hugo. Not surprising at all. Anthony Campagnaro has been on the pitch for 78 goals. That's pretty impressive too. So Vigalwa's taken 3 out of 3 penalties. Victor Hugo's taken 3 out of 3 penalties and dispatched them. Someone who missed the penalty then? I think it might have been Jovanovic. Assists, to have the top 2 at 13 and 10 is insane. Albarracin in there as well. Orozco was 7, Zviggy was 6, Kevin was 6 as well. Orozco, key passes, 42 key passes. Really, really good. Lisic 29, Zvigawa with 28 as well. Aslan with a decent amount, and of course my man Kev too. Lisic created 14 chances this season. That's actually a really high number, and it would explain the number of assists he's got. Makes you think that Zvigawa probably should have more assists than he does. Not because he has played badly, because someone has obviously not put the chances away. Pass completion, Diego Silva, 93%, and Orozco at 91 is crazy. Iglesias has done alright too. Cross completion, Lisic, 27%. My giddy aunt. He does have 16 crossing, doesn't he? It shows. He's putting them on people's heads. Usually Campagnaro, I'm guessing. Dribbles per game, Lisic, up there. Peralta, up there. Campagnaro, up there. Victor Hugo, nowhere to be seen, interestingly. Defensive. Wow, Zvigawa's only been on the pitch for 4 goals conceded. That's crazy. Tackles per game? I probably know one on there at all. Yeah, no. Mistakes leading to goal? Probably no again. Mistakes is usually... No. Wow. Okay, surprising. Key tackles? None at all, because we don't have to make that many tackles. Key headers? No surprising that he's got 90 key headers, and Kevin's got 45. Not too bad. Interceptions? None. Headers 1 ratio? Albarracin at 81 and Aslan at 80. Surprised Freitas isn't on there too, to be honest. Shots blocked? No need. Conceded? Well, that's frustrating, isn't it? Because none of them have played 19 games. Both our keepers have played 18 games, I think. So who the hell... Oh, yeah, because Mateus Marcin Mazur played the first game of the season, I think. Clean sheets, 15 and 13. Well, there you go. That's the difference. They've made 18 appearances each. Franceschi's conceded 1 less goal and got 2 more clean sheets. Ragnarsson's had a bloody good year, I've got to say. Saves held, this stuff's irrelevant. Right, let's move over to the actual analysis. That's what we're all here to do. Let's go. Okay, so goalkeepers. We've got Juan Martin Iglesias and Ruben Franceschi. So team conceded per 90 minutes. Interestingly, it's lower for Iglesias, but we've got to remember here that Franceschi has played in the Champions League, and that is going to be dragging that down tremendously. No mistakes into a goal. He's kept more clean sheets overall. I just feel like Franceschi is still doing a better job than Iglesias at the moment. I mean, we can actually look at this a bit more detail if we go into his stats page, because then we can ignore then the Champions League stuff. And it shows us a bit more sensibly what his actual stats are like. So, shots saved, 88%. And he's kept 17 clean sheets in 21 matches. Like, minutes on pitch per goal conceded as well, 390. Like, it goes without saying, that's pretty damn good. He's only faced 43 shots, Christ on the bike. 88% saved. That's fine. That's kind of what I'm interested in. And, yeah, look at that, 0.23. Does this change if I turn that on? Yes, it does. Okay, good. That's great. Right, this is a really useful statistic. I just wish that you could take this and do a comparison. But so we're gonna have to remember this. So 88%, 390, and 1, and you know what I'm saying. I can remember 0.23. So let's have a look at Iglesias' stats for that exact same period. We'll leave that on for him. So 84. So he's saving less shots as well. He's faced a reasonably large number of shots as well. 330 and slightly higher here. So again, he's just slightly worse. But it is very, very tight. But I still think that Franceschi is the number 1 man for us right now in the goalkeeping department, and I will be persisting with him. So let's move on to the right backs and left backs too. Okay, so when it comes to fullbacks, we're mainly looking at 2 on the right and 2 on the left. We're ignoring Gomez and Yamro because they just didn't play much and they play for other teams, whereas these guys have always played for us this season. So I expect Albarracin should, in theory, come out on top, I would like to think. But Aslan and Stamler, I know Aslan's got a lot of assists, but I do want to see how he's done on the other aspects of this team. So let's just go straight for assists first. Aslan, again, has the most, no surprise there. Albarracin up there as well. Stamler hasn't been that bad, though, really. It's certainly less than half the number of Aslan, but it's still not too awful overall, I guess. Chance created per 90 minutes is kind of a similar story, although Rosa is actually creating a similar amount of chances per 90 minutes as Leandro Albarracin, which makes me think that maybe he could actually be doing a job for us in a couple of seasons. I still think that he's got a really bright future. He's 5 years his junior, remember. Aslan just killing it in that position. Pass completion, Aslan and Albarracin out on top, but Rosa and Stamler aren't far off the pace in that one too, right? Key passes per 90 minutes. Aslan again, Albarracin in there too. Rursa, not struggling that much. He's a little bit off the pace, but again, he's the understudy. Whereas Stamler is the same age as Aslan. You can see how far off the pace he is from that side of things. It really is just not quite on that level so far. Cross completion, again, similar story. Rursa and Albarracin both on 18, which is great. Aslan on 17, but Stamler is down on 10. So again, he's just really off the pace. He's just not quite had it this year, it would seem. Defensive side of things, let's see how this is quite important. Stamler at 0.26 has done a great job defensively, amazingly there. Rursa's done pretty well as well. Aslan and Albarracin, we have conceded more goals, but again, these two probably played League, these two probably played Champions League, so we've got to remember that when taking that. We've got to remember that in total as well. Tackles 1 ratio. Stamler, 97. Really decent from him. Aslan at 88, though. Rursa slightly down low, though. Maybe could do with being a bit higher. Interceptions-wise, Albarracin is brilliant. Aslan is pretty damn solid too. Rursa again lagging behind, and Stamler in there as well. Headers 1, no surprises that Aslan and Albarracin win those. They're just better in the air. Stamler lacks any kind of real aerial presence. But what you can really see here is that Albarracin has had a great season. Aslan's had a great season. And Rursa, when he's been called upon, has done a pretty damn good job this year as well at being an understudy. And I think he is a perfect backup to Albarracin next year. He's only going to get better, and he's only going to get more game time next season as we rotate the squad around. Stamler is one that I'm a little bit concerned about, because I don't really want to have to rely on him as a starting right back next year based on the stats. Looking at the way that he's compared to Aslan, they're not even close. Stamler just hasn't been on the same page as Aslan, and I think we need to look for another right back, potentially one in the mould of Ramazan Aslan. We'll use him as a kind of template, basically, because I mean, maybe we could get him back. What's his value? 5.5 million. I mean, might have injury problems. We've seen none of that so far. Squad player, but could still improve. But like that, we've seen from him suggests that it could actually happen. I'm gonna just make an offer and see what they want for him. I have a horrible feeling they're gonna want silly money. I'm just gonna put these in and then exclude them. That way that they don't muck around with these, because sometimes they can put them in a non-negotiable. So if you turn it off now, 81 million. Like what? Really? Just okay, sure. 81 million pounds. It's the Rafael Rodriguez situation all over again. I nearly had a chance to sign him. I think I did mention it, but I might have taken it out of the video. I did mention that I actually had a chance to sign Rafael Rodriguez, but he wanted such ridiculous money that I could have offered it to him, but it would have probably been the worst deal for us financially. It just wasn't worth doing at the time. He went to Brighton in the end. So that's kind of my conclusion. I think we're definitely going to need to sign a right back, I think. We're going to have to try and look for someone like an Aslan, or try and get back on loan. I don't really know. Right, centre-backs. Thankfully with centre-backs, it's nice, because we really only have 4 players that are centre-backs in the squad at the moment, and these are they. So we've obviously got Vinjevic, Freitas, Bang, and Pandurovic, and they've all played a decent amount, particularly these 3, but Vinjevic has definitely played a decent amount too. So let's just jump straight in with passing. Panda and Freitas doing well, Bang, and again, Vinjevic was probably going to finish the bottom of a lot of these. Wouldn't be surprised. Team goals scored per 90 minutes. Interestingly, he's the highest, but again, I don't think he's played any Champions League minutes this year, so that is definitely something to take into account. You can also see that Freitas and Bang make way more key passes than the others. I mean, it's not even close. From a defensive standpoint, Pandurovic is actually the best, but they're all relatively close, in fairness. And I feel like had Vinjevic had played in Europe, his would be slightly higher as well. Freitas, again, he just doesn't seem to win that many tackles, but he doesn't seem to need to. It's really weird with him. He's not even great in the air, considering he just does things. I think he just must be intercepting it constantly. It's crazy how good yeah, in fact, there you go. He's got really good interception, so he doesn't need to make the tackles. So, yeah, it's a strange one with him. He is just an absolute phenomenon. I can't knock him, and he's going to be staying for as long as I can keep hold of him, really. Bang, it's a similar kind of story with him. What is his kind of contract like? Has he got more contract at Schalke? Yeah, he's got a contract for bloody ages. So, again, I might try and bring him back on loan next year again, because he has been fantastic this season. With this, I think we need to go out and start trying to find the next crop of youngsters for the centre-back roles, like we were with these guys when they first came in, with Freitas and Panda and Vinjevic. They were all fairly young when they joined us, and I think we really do need to look for the next crop, because the youngest of them is actually the best one, which is Freitas at 22. So I think I want to go and find some centre-backs, really, that fit my mould. That's going to be one of the main areas, is centre-backs, because I'm not seeing the next generation of centre-backs coming through. When you look at, like, we just turn back on the match squad thing and go to the B team, and that, like, when you look at the potential, Like, yeah, I mean, you've got Broshko there, but Falcao, Goretzky, Scott DeVos, like, no one's really standing out as being, like, fantastic and looking like they're going to take the next step. We've got no one with the 5-star potential sitting and waiting, you know? And I think that's something we definitely need to look at. So, yeah, centre-backs, happy with what we got. Might try and get banged back, but I really do think I need to go and find some more young bucks to try and take this team to the next level. We've got the money to do so. So, DMs. Okay, so Bonavento is still here, but it's just nice to see how well he's keeping up with the others. It's kind of the main reason he's involved in this at all. In all honesty, Diego Silva is a cut above. Bonavento put up better passing numbers than Coutinho. He hasn't made any key passes yet, but he does make more passes overall. He wins a decent number of tackles, so certainly more than Coutinho in that period. Makes a tiny bit less interceptions. The reason I'm looking at this is Diego Silva is the champion. He's won this already. We know that. He's the king. Look at these aerial challenges as well. But we do concede less goals with Coutinho in the team, interestingly. So, the thing is with this, Bonavento's got that higher potential ceiling, and Coutinho's kind of there now, practically. The thing that Coutinho does have going for him is he's a homegrown player, but I feel like we're going to get some more of those. See, I've got the asking price set to 8.5 million. If we can get anywhere near that amount for him, then I would definitely be willing to sell. But again, I think I want to look for some more young blood to come through, because we're just starting to find ourselves in a position where there's not any kind of real quality backup entering this at the moment. Like, in those positions, again, you can see there's no one standing out as, like, amazing potential around the squad so far. And that's, again, something we need to probably take a little gander at as far as the future goes. So, I think what we're going to do, the plan for the summer with these guys, is probably sell Coutinho if I can get decent money for him, and look for some more youngsters to start padding out the ranks a little bit. Because Bonavento, I think, is decent. And I think he'll get plenty of game time next year, like, properly. Whereas Diego Silva is just the king. If we can hold on, this is providing we can hang on to these guys. If we don't, then firstly, Diego Silva, I constantly see my assistant saying, like, this guy's probably worth, he's one of our best players. I feel like if we did lose him, it would be for 10, 15 million, you'd hope. So we definitely have money to play with, but I think he is a quality player. I mean, how much did he cost us? It was basically nothing, wasn't it? £2.6 million he cost us, which is a bargain when you look at it. And at the time I was like, oh god, he's on a lot of money, but he is justifying that wage mighty so. So let's look at the attacking, the central mids. So when it comes to centre mids, there is literally two options. I just want to see who's done the best this year, really. As you can see, Orozco, only just slightly better on goals, in fairness. He has played double the number of minutes, so 7 goals is decent, but Garcia's certainly not been any slouch this year. The issue is where Garcia has really fallen off is his assists. Orozco is creating goals for us this year. 7 assists is, as far as I'm concerned, by far his best output in his career, surely, isn't it? So 9 assists this year, none in the entirety of last season. Not a single assist. None again. Wait, yeah. None. Surely that can't be right. He actually, wow, that's mental. He got no assists, and this year he's got 9. I think the moving to the striker thing has really allowed him to put some good balls into good positions and just go away with it, quite frankly. He's got better pass completion, creates more chances per 90 minutes. His cross completion is astonishingly good. He makes way more key passes per 90 minutes. He does win less tackles, so he isn't as good at that, but he is good at intercepting, and he's great in the air. Although, weirdly, wins less aerial challenges overall. We do concede more goals with him in the team, which I guess does make sense given that, you know, he's not as good at tackling. And also he's played in the Champions League, so there is that as well. I wish there was a way you could filter that, but unfortunately you can't. I'm still happy with having both of these guys around, but again, I'm going to look for some youngsters, because I think we just need to be padding this out, because once again, it doesn't look so bright here. There obviously are other players around, but with the likes of Militic and whatnot, but like when I just bring these guys back in for a sec, like potential-wise, obviously you've got those guys, but nobody's really, but these guys aren't really players for that role when you actually think about it. These guys are all attacking mids that can play there. And I think we need to look for some dedicated players to play in that role specifically. So again, I think this is really laying out the line, the fact that we need to look for the next generation of these players. Because I'm happy with them, but I want to make sure that there's contingencies in place for in case we lose either of them or they start to dip, but we're good on these guys for right now, is the way I'm looking at it. So let's move on to the wingers. So wingers, we've got a few on each side. I've had to lower it to like allow midfield wingers in, because Oprich has yet to get the grips with that role yet. He will be there by next season, I feel like, so we'll have good options in that position there too. So, just looking at this from a sort of, we've got Lisek, Olprich, and Victor Hugo on one side, then we've got Peralta and Campagnaro on the other. This is going to be an interesting one. So, firstly, goals per 90 minutes. Victor Hugo is massively up there, and Campagnaro, no surprises there. But Olprich has actually done better than Blaise Lisek in terms of the goal scoring side of things. So, it's something that he definitely does need to look at. Peralta's not been that far off of Campagnaro, but it is definitely a noticeable drop. Like, he's scored half the number of goals of him. It's undeniable. Assists per 90 minutes, Lisek miles out in front. But again, Olprich has put up some decent numbers in the time he's been in the squad. Victor Hugo really is lagging on the assist side of things. He's a great goal scorer, but he's not creating much for the other side of the team. Whereas Lisek and Olprich, I feel like they get you a guy that can do both. Lisek can score goals and he can set up goals. And Olprich has proven, albeit over a shorter period of time, that he is definitely capable of putting up decent numbers in those areas too. And maybe this could be, I mean, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe Victor Hugo could move on potentially, despite how good he's been, but then maybe it's worth just keeping him around. He's not on big money, he's always available to do stuff when you need him, and it might be worthwhile just keeping him around the squad because he's such an important player. It's not like we'd get much for him anyway, to be honest. So, look, he actually took a wage cut on the last contract I offered him. So I think he's worth keeping around anyway, just because he is such a club legend, to be honest, and just to give us backup whenever we need him, because he has scored so many goals for us in the past. Even if my standard go-to next year will be Blaise Lisek as a first choice, and Olprich in there as well, as either a backup, or maybe he could even be the starter once he's got used to that role, to be honest. Cross completion, look at that. 28% for those two. Victor Hugo, or 23, is still very, very good. But again, he's still falling behind. Peralta and Campagnaro dead tied at 18%. Interesting. Pass completion. Once again, Olprich coming out really, really high on that one. Lisek at 84. Victor Hugo down on 79. Peralta and Campagnaro nice and fairly low compared to the others. But again, Lisek and Olprich dominating this area of the team. What do we want? Key passes per 90 minutes. Yes, all right then. Lisek again, flying out in front. Olprich up there as well. Done really, really nicely in that period of game. Peralta, slightly higher than Campagnaro. He's certainly not lagged that much. I think maybe he's just had an unfortunate season, in all honesty. His assists per 90 minutes number is actually better than Campagnaro. And maybe he's just got a bit of bad fortune this season. I think he's done all right. He hits the target with enough of his shots at 53%. Maybe he's just had a blip of a year. Shots on target per 90 minutes, again, it's a reasonable amount. Maybe it's because Campagnaro's winning headers, I don't know. He's dribbling more. I don't know. I'm thinking Peralta's just had a bit of an unlucky season. And he and Campagnaro have put up huge numbers. But again, if I do find like that Ubaldo guy, another type of player like that, I won't hesitate to try and bring them in. We're going to have to spend this money somewhere. Because if I am going to be signing a load of youngsters, they're not going to be, in theory, costing a huge amount of money each. There'll only be $1 million here and $1 million there. So if I do find a player that's like perfect, that we can get our hands on, even if it costs us £20 million, I will go and make that signing. Because I think that sometimes you do just need to bring in a marquee signing that can strengthen the squad now. Because all these guys are going to keep getting better. And it is slow progress. But if the opportunity arises for me to actually improve the squad with one smooth transfer, then I will absolutely take that deal. So, weirdly, I'm kind of happy with the way this is going. We've got great roots on that left-hand side with Lisek. Olprich is an excellent signing. We've got a great elder statesman at 25 in Victor Hugo there, really stacked in that position. On the right, Peralta and Campagnaro have done an excellent job this year with decent goals, 15 assists and 21 goals between them. If there was to be someone that could come in and do an absolute rockety job, like an absolutely insane job there, that's what could complete that front line for me. If we found an absolute legend in that role, then maybe there could be something a little bit extra. But for now, I'm actually kind of happy. Again, youngsters, if I find someone amazing, I'll go after them. Right, attacking mids. I'm going to do this as the last one. Do I have a striker analysis one? I do, but I'm not going to use that because we haven't had a full season with him at striker, so the stats would be all skewed. So we're going to go with just AM analysis this time. Okay, so last but not least, attacking midfielder analysis. Carballo and Eichelkamp, I'm going to ignore them, actually. I just don't think they've played enough for me to get sensible numbers out of their stats. Okay, so, wow, look at this. Nearly every single one of these guys has got into double figures. That's really, really good. Goals per 90 minutes. Jovanovic, no surprise that he's up there. Gorosito in there as well as Vigoa. Kevin's actually the worst of the bunch, interestingly, considering how much credit I've given him. But he's still not far off and is still an excellent player to have around. Jovanovic has been sensational. 18 goals this season. In 30 appearances. Gorosito as well, getting into double figures too, out of playing a lot less matches in terms of actual overall minutes, particularly. He's played like less than half the number of minutes of Zvigawa, and he's got 10 goals this year, including a winner in a cup final. So fair play to him. Kevin still, though, 8. It's not bad, but it definitely doesn't put him in front of these guys. Assists-wise, Kevin, look at this. That is insane. He's been such a great creative player in that role. Zviggy's done well too, but when you look at Jovanovic and Gorosito, they've both played in the Kevin role. predominantly. Zvigar has pretty much been the only player that's played in that frontward role, and Kevin sometimes, but mostly it's been Kevin's playing in the other role too. They've got 6 assists, and he's got 9 by himself. So he's such a creative player when he's in there. Zviggy with 8 as well is really, really excellent. Although Kevin has operated in that other role sometimes too, so maybe that's why. But still, really, really good numbers being put up on my man Kev. Happy to see that. Chance created, again, he's done well. In fact, it's level pegging there. So Vigara's created a decent number of chances too. It's basically the same exact situation. Gorosito does not create a great deal of opportunities for other players, but boy, can he take them when he gets his chance. Whereas Jovanovic is more than capable of creating assists. He did get 3 in one game after all. Cross completion, not really that bothered about that one. Pass completion, Jovanovic, 87, really good. Kevin at 85. Zviggy down at 81, but again, he's played as a striker for the latter half of the season, which has probably knocked that down a little bit. Gorosito at 85 is still really, really nice, though. Key passes per 90 minutes is kind of what's important. Kevin again out on top. Gorosito, interestingly, in second spot. People just aren't converting the passes that he's putting into. So that's kind of interesting. Jovanovic down at the bottom. Not surprising that Kevin's out there. Headers 1 per game. Zviggy out in front, huge. No surprise there. Kevin doing well. Gorosito's not the tallest, is he? 5'10", whereas Jovanovic is 6 foot. And Kevin's pretty tall as well, isn't he? 5'11". He does really well in the air for a guy who isn't amazingly tall compared to the likes of 6'6" Viggy. You know, I found a striker in one of the youth intake analyses that was 6'8", playing for Leganes, but he wasn't that good in the other stats, and we don't need another tower, frankly. Shots on target percentage. Gorosito, yeah, and this is because these guys are having slightly more longer shots, I think, and that's why theirs is so low. I think that has to be the reason. They're just not hitting as many shots on target, but they're dribbling a decent amount. I'm really happy with the front line. Zviggy will be the striker, but I am going to go and try and sign another striker in the summer because we need more options there. Jovanovic has been fantastic. Gorosito is also excellent in that frontward role. Both of those two fantastic players with still kind of room to grow beyond that as well. And Kevin is just such a great utility player to have around. He's always happy to play in the team and gets goals and assists when he plays. We've got 4 players that can play in those roles. Striker, definitely important. We'll still look out for some youngsters as well, as I often do. So, the main sort of conclusion we've come to is I need to sign lots of youngsters to pad out the squad and give us some potential coming through in the future. If I can find a marquee signing or two, I will. Loans will be important as well, but it's just going to be very, very difficult, as it often will be. Maybe our rep will have improved, so maybe we can start to get some of these players, perhaps. That's the hope, that maybe we've just improved enough that we could maybe have got that Ubaldo guy instead of him going to Milan. You never know. So there you go. I'm trying to find... Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm trying to find something on my desk to use as the word of the day. All right, I've just found my medal from the trail race I did yesterday. So the word of the day is Runfest. Put that in the comments if you've got this far into the video. And of course, if you like me doing these, drop a like. It lets me know that you want me to keep doing them. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be awesome as well. And I'll join you guys tomorrow for some transfer goodies. See if I can actually make good on any of these things we've just talked about right now. And we get into a brand new season. Hopefully... we can have a season of success where we can really start to stamp our authority, get second in our Champions League group, or maybe even try and win one. That could be the key for us, is winning our Champions League group. Coefficient points are plenty, hopefully. I want to try and at least get back to the Champions League quarterfinals next year, because that would show that there's some progress being made. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.